Oh, oh God. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Gabesty here. This is the normal tank guide for Garrosh Hellscream. This video should guide tank players to the basics of this encounter and kind of give you the overall sense of what you need to do to be successful. So let's get started. So for phase 1 tanking, it depends a little bit on your raid strategy, but overall you'll have one tank on Garrosh and one tank on the adds that come out. You can technically split the adds, but if your raid uses the strategy that we are using in the video, which involves using the Kor'kron Iron Stars to help kill the adds, then you have to split the mobs accordingly so that you can keep Garrosh in the safe side of the room and the other tank can handle the adds. So if you're using this method and you are on the adds, you need to pull them in front of the path that the Iron Star is going to take. Once the Iron Star is about to reach you, roll or teleport or run out of its path, leaving the mobs there. You can use stuns or slows to keep them there a little bit longer. And those mobs will get hit by the Iron Star, take huge damage, and either die outright from it because they were low health, or they'll just come back to you with low health and you can engage them again. If, on the other hand, you're on Garrosh, there's nothing much to do here. He doesn't have any stacking buffs in the first phase, so you just hold him wherever it's convenient for your raid and kind of in the center of the group and out of the path of the Iron Star. And if you are not using the Iron Star strategy, then the same basic rules apply, except the tank that gets the adds will want to tank them on top of the boss so that cleave damage hits both the boss and the adds at the same time. Now for phase 2, when you enter the Corrupted Realms, as a tank you really don't have to do anything extraordinary. There's nothing to actually tank in this section, so you're just a DPS essentially. You want to attack these mobs as quickly as you can and leave the little buffs behind for other players, those little white orbs that you see spawn, because as a tank you won't really need them. In the final phase, get in melee range of the boss here and just dodge his cone attack that he uses over and over, the Annihilate attack. As long as you don't get hit by the cone directly, you'll take less damage than everyone else just from being a tank, and then you're just doing DPS and helping to heal where you can. That's pretty much it. Once the corruption phase ends, you'll be back in the main throne room dealing with the phase 2 parts of that as well. Now, the majority of your time on this fight will be spent in the throne room phase of phase 2, which is what you see here. For a tank, the only thing you really have to worry about is the stacks of the tank debuff, which is Gripping Despair. So this is your main mechanic for swapping tanks, and it's always, it's the exact same as it always works. Just swap when your stack runs out, and then the other tank will do the same, and so on and so forth. The only thing you have to be careful of is positioning the boss somewhere where people can stand safely when he uses Whirling Corruption, which he's casting right there. So this causes him to spin around, but he'll still move if you, as the tank on him at the time, move him at the time. Now, the rest of your raid should be moving far away from the boss to take less damage, while you as a tank, if you're on him, stay stationary. Because the whirls do more damage the closer you are, you may need to use a personal cooldown during the Whirling Corruption. And other than that, you shouldn't really have to move much unless a desecrated weapon forces you to slightly adjust his position. But for the most part in this phase, you're just staying in the center and swapping Garrosh back and forth. Now, probably the most important thing for you to deal with as a tank is the minions of Yasarj. And these will spawn when the boss is above 25 energy or corruption, and he uses Whirling Corruption during the phase 2 and phase 3, actually. So here you can see we're just getting charmed, which we're dealing with. As a tank, you can help interrupt the charmed players, but overall, you will not get charmed ever unless the rest of the raid is, basically. So here you can see an empowered Whirling Corruption starting. And because it's empowered, you can see the circles on the ground of these purple spawns. These are all the minions. So depending on your raid strategy, typically you and the other tank will want to pick up a few of these minions and hold them. You can tank them near the boss or just apart from the boss. It's up to you. But The basic idea here is that as the minions die near one another, they'll buff other minions, increasing the damage that they deal. Because of this, once you get 3-4 minions on you and they start to die off, the remaining minions are going to do a ton of damage. So you may need to use personal cooldowns once that occurs. But once they die, then, that's it. They're gone until the next Empowered Whirling Corruption, which will keep happening over and over once the boss reaches a high energy level. Here's another one already. So that's the main thing to handle. Tank swaps on Garrosh, and then once empowerment occurs above 25 energy, picking up the minions and handling them properly, getting them off raid members, all that good stuff. Now, finally, once the boss reaches 10% health in the second phase, he will again transition, this time into the final third phase. So he gains 30% health, and he gains full corruption, full energy. So this means all of his abilities are corrupted versions now, or empowered versions, rather. Because of that, the main thing for tanks to worry about, in addition to all the other mechanics that we talked about already for Phase 2, is that now his Gripping Despair is an empowered version, and this can be very dangerous. Basically what this means is tank swaps still have to occur as quickly as you can, so around every 3 stacks or so. But when the current dot that was on a tank expires on its own after 10 seconds, it will explode and deal damage equal to the total dot damage at one time to the tank. So basically when you have the other tank taunt off you in this final phase, then you need to use a cooldown when that explosion is about to end, when your dot is about to expire, because it's going to hit you really hard. Other than that, pick up minions. If your raid decides to kill them in this last phase, just do that as normal. Otherwise, you might have to move the boss as Desecrate weapons land near you so that the raid can be in safe positions to deal with those and the whirls. But overall, Phase 3 is just a burn phase. Your raid's trying to kill the boss before they become overwhelmed. And that's it. Kind of a long tank guide. I apologize for that, but that gives you the overall mechanics for handling the tanking portion of Garrosh Hellscream. As always, good luck, and thanks for watching.